Welcome to Beach Too Sandy, Water Too Wet, a podcast featuring real reviews written by people who just need the world to know what they think. Between you and me, I wanted to like this podcast, but I'd give it 0 stars if I could.
On to my challenge. My challenge was from Mahaley. Reviews that mention witnessing an employee quitting or getting fired. And I'm just going to go right into it. Here is a review. I will say, I'm not getting right into it. This was like, there were a good amount of results, but it was a lot of people mentioned getting fired or people quitting without them actually witnessing it. Like it was a lot of like secondhand info. So I forget if I chose some of those
Hearsay,
reviews.
Your Honor.
Some of them were just like so good that I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna keep this. I think.
Yeah. Who cares?
Anyway, here we go. Here is a 2-star review. This is a TripAdvisor review of Rosie Rosie's, a restaurant in Zionsville, Indiana. Here we go.
Wow.
Went to Rosie's this morning for the first time since COVID. Unfortunately, we were seated in the back portion of the restaurant where there are only 6 tables. Normally this would have been amazing, but this morning we were seated right next to a table where 2 managers were having an intense conversation with an employee. Mind you, we were there at 8 a.m. when they opened, and there were open tables all over the restaurant. This was the most uncomfortable situation I've been in at a restaurant. I did tell our waitress, who informed the managers. One came to our table and apologized.
Who turned like this, 5 degrees, and said, yeah. Let me tell my manager. He's right here next to you, breathing down your neck. Yeah.
I did tell our waitress, who informed the managers. One came to our table and apologized, and then kept apologizing instead of leaving so we could finish our meal.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't know. She came back and did offer to pay, but we did not accept. It was uncomfortable, and I hope a learning experience for obviously inexperienced managers. The employee quit and shook my hand when he left. That was class. End of review.
Class?
I know. What the fuck?
Why? Why would they shake your hand? What did
Were
you
they
do?
hoping that they were like the manager of the restaurant next door and be like, maybe you can give me a job? I don't know.
Yeah, that's so odd. That's the
I'm sorry you just saw me quitting. Nice to meet you.
But I'm still a classy guy. That's what I'll say.
I don't know. It was weird. When I saw that, I was like, is that class? I guess.
I guess. Not that I would know.
Wouldn't expect that ever to happen in a million years.
Yeah.
So, like, I wouldn't categorize it as anything like class, but I suppose.
I guess. I mean,
I don't know. Maybe they were
you're
apologizing.
The one who fired him.
Which you're the reason that they got fired.
Maybe.
Or they did quit. They did quit. Sorry,
okay, I also feel like that was the employee bringing them to that table. You know, like when your friend's over and you're like, oh, I'm not going to get yelled at because my friend's here. And then your parents are like, how do we like separate you from your friend so I can yell at you? I feel like that was like, can you sit right there so that my managers don't yell at me? Yeah, I'm going to put you at the empty table in this empty restaurant all the way in the back next to me as I have this awkward conversation. And then shook your hand to say thank you.
Yeah, got a good handshake out of it.
Man, that is weird.
Right? So strange. Okay, my next one here is from Gregory. Good old Gregory.
Mm-hmm.
Sent one in a 4-star review of McDonald's in Chaska, Minnesota.
Okay.
Chaska. Chaska. I feel like that's what they'd say.
Probably
not. 4 stars. I'm giving this place a 4-star review only for the fact that Lorena, the lady who had just taken my order, was so nice. I could tell she was newer, and this location was getting busy with their morning commute rush. However, I'm very disappointed in what I witnessed as I came up to the first window to pay. She was getting yelled at for not answering in a timely manner. This manager, or whoever she was, yelled at her to the point that she made this nice girl cry and want to quit on the spot. That to me is unacceptable, and I feel Lorena deserves an apology. I get that it's busy, and it's the holidays, and everyone gets short-staffed. I worked in the fast food industry and retail for many years, and no one, and I mean no one, deserves that treatment no matter the situation. Lorena, keep shining. You got this, girl. End of review.
Aww. I didn't expect that to get to my heart, man.
I know. So that one, technically, no one actually quit or got fired. But
now
I'm like,
that is called
Gregory,
class.
that
okay?
one is
That's
that
called
was
class.
a class. That was
Yeah,
you
class
sent a
act.
review full of class.
Lorena, keep shining.
I loved that.
I love
Honestly,
that,
I should have
'cause
saved it for the end. It was like such a good.
I feel like
positive,
Lorena needs to be like, see, I don't need to respond to any drive-through orders. I'm doing just fine. Just kidding. But I also love that, like, this will not stand 4 stars. I'm going to make my voice heard here. I'm going to drop a whole star off this McDonald's review.
They probably don't want to, hey, they might be like, don't shoot the messenger. Like,
yeah.
Not even the messenger.
No,
like,
no,
hey,
don't.
the
Yeah,
only
don't.
person getting consequences would be this
Lorena.
employee if I give a 1-star review.
Yeah, she doesn't want Lorena to get in more trouble.
I respect it.
How's she going to keep shining?
Okay. My next one is also from Gregory, and this is a 1-star review of a Panda Express in Crestwood, Illinois.
Man, this is fun. I just love
We're all
these.
over the place,
Yeah.
I know. My girlfriend worked an 8-hour shift yesterday. On her break at 6, I told her that I would come and visit her. So I did, and I ended up waiting almost 30 minutes to an hour because of how busy it was. So I went and sat in the car and waited on her. She finally came out with her lunch, ate it, and rushed back in to work. The next day, she was fired for apparently stealing the lunch in which she came outside with and ate. I am under the impression that Panda Express employees get a free lunch for every 5 hours that they work. She also told me that she never finished her module/training and was not told that she would be terminated for not ringing in her food. I believe they assumed she brought the food out to me, so they got rid of her. I even took a photo of her eating the food in my car with my newly purchased iPhone XR that I was showing to her.
That's like a plot point in like a kind of a poorly written, or like when you need to force like a storyline.
Yeah.
How about he just got a brand new phone and he wants to show off how good the picture is, and that way he'll have a picture later. Oh god,
it's so funny that it's like there's like photo evidence by accident.
Yeah,
It's just so
on
silly.
on an iPhone 10. How crisp.
Yeah, so true. It upsets me that the wrongful judgment of character would result in such termination when employees eat free with no written warning or verbal warning. I politely called the store manager just to let them know that there was a misunderstanding with their employee, and she told me that since I did not work for Panda Express, that she cannot discuss store policy with me. She thanked me for calling and then rushed me off of the phone. I was not aware that Panda Express treats its employees this way. I will not consider eating nor referring anyone to Panda Express ever again. End of review.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, it's just a shitty situation.
I don't mean it's
Yeah,
too bad that they'll never eat Panda Express again. I don't really care about that. But it's too bad that this happened. Also, I feel like it's kind of telling when you say she never finished her training. How was she supposed to know that she never was? She was I'm assuming that was not her choice or doing.
Yeah,
it sounds like
the way
she never
it was
finished
put
the training. How is she supposed to know?
Like, they're not even training her right. I didn't take it to mean like yeah.
It's like, remember when we would have to take, this is gonna sound so bad, but remember when we'd have to take like at least before God, maybe this just makes me sound so fucking old, but I had to take like a pre-college like alcohol course to like learn about alcohol before I went to college. It was like some online it was something weird like that, like an online program. But like I figured out you could, because I'm always looking for a fucking shortcut, I figured out you could like hit some button and then like leave, and it would like ding when it was done. I don't remember, but I didn't watch a single video because I just let it play. And then I was like, haha, I probably didn't serve me any good to not watch it, but
I was so straight edge I probably paid full attention.
Yeah, you probably took notes.
Mm-hmm. I probably did.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all.
I don't know if I did something like that. Huh.
I think I was just mad that they were making me do it because I was like,
was this a university making you do that?
Yeah,
like,
it was like a freshman, like an incoming freshman like requirement
weird.
Or something stupid.
Yeah, I don't know.
But this is also in like 08, 09, so I mean the internet was very exciting, and people were like, let's do everything here, including talk about alcohol poisoning. I don't know.
Nice. Good times.
It was.
My next one is from Brad, who says, I hope these reviews get you fired up, or at least give you a good chuckle. Unlike the time I ate a bunch of food coloring and had to go to the doctors. He said I would be fine, but honestly, I felt like I died a little inside.
But Brad said that?
Yeah, you're not getting... Are you getting any of the jokes in here?
No.
Sorry. Okay. I'll start from the beginning and explain each joke. I hope these reviews get you fired up, because the reviews are about people getting fired, okay? Or at least give you a good chuckle. And then said, unlike the time I ate a bunch of food coloring and had to go to the doctor's, he said I would be fine. But honestly, I felt like I died, spelled D-Y-E-D, a little inside because of all the food coloring.
Oxana, when you just read that without any pauses, I was like, what the fuck is Brad? Is he okay? Like,
he's not okay.
No.
Even with the pauses, I don't think he's okay.
I mean, I also have a rash on my arm right now from too much food
Oh,
coloring.
That's nice.
So I get it. I'm
Nice.
also died inside.
Okay, he said it a little different. But yeah. This is I also don't think Brad's okay because of this content that he sent in. Here is a review of SB Evolution Landscape. I'm going to read the original review and then read the owner response and go back and forth a little bit, because the owner response definitely gives some context as to who this reviewer is.
I cannot wait.
And
I
not
love
in a
these.
good way. And not in a good way. You know, it's
Yeah.
this
Oh,
reviewer.
yeah. Of course.
Here's the original review. And this is of a landscaping company.
Okay.
Terrible company. They do a butcher job every time and kill way more plants than necessary. They use a huge crew that is disrespectful to the environment and uses all unnecessary power tools to do the terrible job that they do. To add to that, some of their crew is terribly rude. They ignore you and even blow you with their leaf blowers accidentally when you try to call the management to discuss the rude behavior. They defend their employees and blame you for the rudeness. Truly a terrible landscaping company. Avoid them. End of review.
That's hilarious to me. They
Yes.
blow you with a leaf blower accidentally.
Yes.
Like, no, we all know it was intentional. I hope you know
Yeah.
that.
And then here is I think the original. It's very confusing because it's like a call response type thing, but the way that each person like edited their post is like different than the other, so it's like hard to piece what is a response to what. But I believe this is the response to that original review. We might find out in the middle that there is something missing. We'll find out. Here we
Okay.
go. Hello. This is truly a bizarre incident with untrue claims of the events you described. Our company has serviced your apartment complex for a year and a half where you reside as a tenant, and we have received no complaints from other tenants or the management company. On the contrary, tenants in the management company have praised our service. Frankly, the landscape looks great. There has been a vast improvement since our company took over. We understand you are in the process of being evicted by management for issues I will not discuss here that have negatively affected neighbors, service providers, management, and my crew.
And landscapers.
yeah, exactly.
Holy
Then they
shit.
go into the details of the actual landscaping that they did, but here we go. When our crew was working at the complex, you approached the leader aggressively, yelling and insulting him and the rest of the crew. He turned away scared from you to avoid confrontation. After reading your review and learning about the threats you made to my crew, I visited the complex in order to inspect the landscape and to address the matter because we take all customer complaints very seriously. I politely presented myself to you and offered to resolve your unsatisfactory experience. I did not harass, intimidate, or threaten you in any way. Your response was defensive and irrational. I have written a report of the incident to provide to the police of the factual accounts of the events. There are many more details I have not disclosed here. And then they signed it, but what was missing is, I guess, part of this next original reviewer, what they had to say.
Oh,
and don't
my
worry, there's
Lord.
another response. Here we go. Okay.
You got this.
Jorge, you were fired for your unacceptable behavior. You did not terminate services, you liar. I have the emails to prove it, so keep lying. Jorge was trespassing off the clock at our front door over a Yelp review, so yes, we felt harassed and called the police. The proper way to handle that without further conflict or violence, according to the authorities. You lied about us being evicted. Your video shows only you approaching our front door, asking for me by name, which is threatening off the bat. We had every right to call the authorities and have you removed from our property. The way you are handling this negative review is showing how petty and childish you actually are. If you had just apologized for your employee who blew the leaf blower on me and pretended he didn't see me, instead of deny and defend your inappropriate actions like Donald Trump would do, you can try and pretend we are the ones who were erratic, but nobody should ever show up at someone's front door over a Yelp review. I am following up with the police. Also, to say your crew has improved the look of the complex is a complete joke. It would be blooming with wildflowers all over if your crew hadn't killed them time and time again. And then Jorge has this to say.
Okay,
Update.
wait. First
Okay,
of all,
yeah, sorry.
hold on. I'm sorry. I just want to give you a brief moment to catch your breath, but
And maybe try to piece together what the fuck is going on. Sorry,
yeah, so
everyone.
okay, so they wrote a review. They were all pissed off that somebody blew a leaf blower on them, said they didn't see them. They don't believe it. So the guy came down, escalation, whatever. And then they wrote this review, and the person came to the complex, which, like, yes, okay, if somebody comes to my front door, I'm immediately threatened, okay? And that's a me problem. Like, I know that. I would say, though, legally, if somebody just rings your doorbell and asks for you by name, that's probably not a threat, and it's probably not considered illegal, I don't think.
And what's funny is, according to Jorge, that's not even what happened.
Oh, okay, great, okay.
But yes, no. And the thing, though, that I think is very important context that the reviewer completely left out is the fact that this isn't even the person's property. They're not in the person's apartment.
Yeah,
this
they did keep saying
they
trespassing.
have an apartment on this management company's property, and the management company hires this business, and seems to be, there's no evidence that they're unhappy with the service.
They're eradicating the wildflowers just like they wanted.
Exactly.
Also, I picture this person as like, oh, they're just so upset about the wildflowers that they're like throwing themselves on the wildflowers. Like, don't use those power tools to murder all the wildflowers. Like how you'd hug a tree or like chain yourself to a tree.
Like it seems like they have an issue with the landscaping and are taking it out on the employees, even though this is probably what the management company want. Like, I don't think this landscaping company is like has the final say of what they do.
Vendetta against wildflowers, yeah.
But the landscaping company stands by their work, so I don't know. Anyway, they
stand by it with a giant leaf blower, and if anyone even starts to contradict.
Exactly. So here's a final thing I'm going to read about this. When I almost didn't bring this because it was like kind of convoluted, and I like closed it and then opened it again, read it, closed it, opened it again. I'm like, I don't even know where to start, but
I'm so glad that we did.
We love a good story. So here's the final part from Jorge. Update. Bizarre storytelling continues. Hello. I don't know who this is. Somebody, a new name that is not anyone. Maria. I don't know who that is. You, Maria, and I have video that clearly shows me politely inquiring to resolve the claims you made while inspecting the landscape at the apartment complex you reside as a tenant. I have yet to be contacted by the police and will provide my full statement along with video evidence that visibly shows me in the parking lot, approximately 25 feet away from the front door of the second-story complex.
Oh my god.
Maria inside the apartment, and you running down and up the stairs on the phone. It was best to terminate service due to reasons best for all parties. We do not accept harassment, prejudice, racism, slurs, or any negative derogatory insults from tenants, clients, or people. I wish you love, peace, and happiness. Respectfully, Jorge Cortez. So, yeah. End of thing, by the way.
What the fuck is going on
so
here?
Basically, they're like, this person apparently used slurs towards either Jorge himself or his employees who were working there, and they ended up ending their services there because of these issues. So anyway, and apparently it was not even close to the front door when all this went down.
I think they terminated their services because she was just running up and down the stairs, and they were like, "This is untenable. I don't know how we can keep working here. I can't watch this happen anymore." I would like to watch that footage though. The footage of Maria inside, whoever that is, inside the apartment. This guy out in the courtyard, and then this person just running up and down the stairs. It seems like a comedy of errors.
It does.
And if it weren't filled with slurs and racism.
No, maybe. That's the thing is I've seen too many videos videos on like TikTok or
Yeah, I don't
whatever
like
of
those.
people harassing people working on not even their own homes, like neighbors' homes and stuff, being
Yeah,
like,
it's
"What are you doing in this neighborhood? You don't belong here." Like flat
it
out
has that
racist bullshit thing.
traditional
Like
Karen lemonade stand vibe that like it's
absolutely.
just so stressful to watch.
And
Yeah.
like I've seen them where they're like, are you legal here? Are you legal?"
Woof.
And the one person like, "Are you asking us that because you're because we're Hispanic?" And the person literally says, "Yes, of course." Like not even trying to hide the fact that they're just being flat out. I mean, you really can't hide it at that point.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
Like, what are
that's
you gonna say? No.
as far I don't know that that's happening here, but I've seen so many of those situations that I'm like, I can't imagine that
it wouldn't
this
be enjoyable.
this
It's funnier
reviewer
probably to
was
imagine
treating them
it.
with any respect.
Yeah, it's probably funnier to imagine it and be like, all right, let's take Jorge's peace, love, we're out of here, and just move on.
Yeah.
But wow, I mean,
It's so shitty, you know? It's so shitty.
yeah, it feels.
But-
I wonder if they were actually evicted.
I know,
'Cause, like,
right?
Jorge did say that, and I do trust some of what he says, so I don't know how much of it is true.
Me too. But I it could also be like one of the neighbors, like, "Oh yeah, we're trying to evict this person. This person's
Or Maria was
crazy,"
like-
you know, and
Maria was like, "Yeah, now you see what I deal with every day."
yeah, exactly. I'm like, but Maria's inside though. Is it inside that person's apartment? Like,
That's
do
what
they
it
live
sounds
together?
like. Maybe
I
she
can't
came
even
over
tell.
to like
I
address.
have no idea.
Also, like, don't address these concerns if you don't want the person to show up and try to fix it. Like,
Yeah.
that's what bothers me too. Is
Yeah.
I usually don't even go there. Like, I usually don't make a complaint unless like I would like a response, because I'm not
Yeah.
just gonna scream into the ether and then like or into the void, and then when someone responds, be like, "How dare you?" You know, it's like, well, don't start it then. You know, so
Yeah, you got to
like,
be ready for that.
if you want to complain about them and the work they do, then like they're gonna probably show up to the complex and like look around.
Well, that's the thing is apparently it seems like they're at the complex anyway. I mean, I do see that they were like trying to figure out what's the deal here.
What's
because-
this person's problem with?
And not
our
only
work?
that, it's not just because of the Yelp review. Like this person had talked to his employees and was like, "Oh, they were harassing my employee."
Yeah,
you know,
right,
like
right,
it was
right,
deeper,
right.
I think,
Like, they're
than
taking
just
it-
like, "Oh, a Yelp review triggered all this." It was like,
Yeah.
well, no, probably your treatment of these people working on the landscaping, plus this review that all hurts their business. Like you're actively hurting their business. Like you're purposefully doing that.
Yeah.
That's the point of these 1-star reviews. Like I don't know what else. Like calling them out for things. That's what happens. But
And
anyway.
that's also what like a door is for. Like, just hide in your apartment. If this happened,
Amen.
if I submitted a complaint like wine drunk one night and then like they came to my house, I would just hide I would just hide. And
You would
guess
never
what?
hear from me again.
I'd be gone. I'd evict myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd fake my death so that
Easy.
and then I'd rent the apartment again for cheaper because
Right,
they
'cause
thought
someone
someone
died.
died there.
Yeah.
And I'll just wear a fake.
Be
oh,
like,
no,
well,
I
what
don't
about
know
this
what.
decomp stain? I would like 20% off my deposit. Thank you.
It's like, how did you know about that decomp stain? Turns out it was just a bunch of pee
Mm.
that was left in a puddle on the floor. It wasn't
Cool.
even decomp.
Gross.
So strange. Really? I thought it was decomp. Huh.
Mm.
Some here's my last one.
Anyway,
This is-
step aside. I'm putting my fake pot plant up, and I want to add some livelihood to this sad apartment.
That'll do it. My last one was from Gregory, and this is of Ben and Jerry's in Daytona Beach. Ben and Jerry's the ice cream in Daytona Beach, Florida. This is a 1-star review with a owner response. Here we go. Here's the review. The employees are terrible. They are rude. Every time I try to place an order, it is never there. Their system is down, they always say. I paid for the food and showed it. They wouldn't even make it. They told me to just cancel it. This is the worst location I've ever seen. In my opinion, should be shut down. End of review, and here's the owner response. You got fired for stealing. End of response.
Okay, I was like, where does the firing come in? Did they get somebody fired? They got fired?
Yes.
Fuck. Oh my god.
Supposedly, yes. They didn't. This is their only review, and they don't have a profile picture, and their location is Florida, Florida. So I'm inclined to believe that they created this account for the sole
Yeah.
purpose of reviewing this,
Yeah.
and then probably didn't respond because they probably didn't even realize that the owner responded. They just posted this and left.
And then forgot the Gmail account or whatever that they made for it.
Yeah, they've been Yelping since March 2023. This review was written March 2023, and no content after
So
that.
shady.
So
was this in
very
the
shady.
not recommended?
No, unfortunately for the owner, but
Wow.
it's still it's funny. I'm glad that it was out here,
I feel like that's kind of a dirty move, though. Like, if that's not the case, to just like comment and be like, "You got fired from here." Like, I feel like you could do that even if it's not true.
Like anytime someone like a really suspicious review
Something like
pops
out
up,
of
like
out
this
of left
person
field, you're
might
like,
not respond. You're like, oh yeah, let me just
yeah, this person got
pretend
fired
that-
for stealing, so yeah, prove you didn't.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, so true.
Wow, Alexander, that was really good though. To find somebody who was fired. Wow, to
There-
find someone on
well,
Yelp who was
mhm.
fired. That's pretty good.
It honestly, there were a lot because I found a lot of my own that just weren't good. Like they weren't very interesting. It was like, ugh, like an employee quit mid shift, blah blah blah, complaints about food and stuff. Like, oh, the service is terrible. An employee even quit mid shift. Like, it wasn't. They would say like, oh, they caused such a scene, but without telling me what the scene was. It drove me crazy.
Paint a picture with your words, people.
Drove me crazy. Like, we need more
This
detail.
is why Yelp has a minimum word count. They want you
Amen.
to paint an evocative picture for us all.
So true. Like,
We want
I
the
want to hear
visual.
what dishes were flung across the room. I want to hear
At the very
who's in the
least.
hospital. I want to hear.
I want pictures.
I want to see. I want to see. I want to feel it. I honestly want to feel it. I want you to describe it to me in such a way that I can feel
I
it
want
deep down inside me.
you to fire Alexander. That's what I want.
Fire me. Make me
Okay.
feel it. I've been fired before.
Have you?
I have. Like, I was working as I was one of those people on the street who was bothering people.
Oh
A
yeah.
canvasser,
That
and
was
it
horrible.
was in DC, and it was for a company that they sold a subscription to local environmentally friendly businesses, and you would pay for the subscription, and then at all of these businesses across the city you'd get a discount. And honestly, that's one of those things that I'm like, I still think back to that, I'm like, that was a pretty good deal. Like, these small businesses were working together. It was a way for them to get their name out. Like, it was a good thing. Like, I don't feel shady about selling that subscription. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I don't even remember what it was fucking called.
Well, you
But
couldn't feel very shady about selling it since you apparently didn't because you got fired. So.
Oh yeah, no, I was just so bad at it. I was
Well,
also
yeah.
like, not outgoing at all. I had
I have
just moved to
terrible
DC.
news.
I was so
Outside my
stressed.
Walmart, they've started setting up a table, and every day there's like a different charity there, like requesting donations, and they're very pushy, as they have to
Yeah.
be. Like, you
Yeah,
have to
you
be.
kind of have to be.
So I'm not like
It's-
accusing them,
which
but
is
it
why
just
I was
makes
so
me
bad at
so
it.
anxious that now I have to go through the drive-through of the pharmacy, which anyway, my life has
Yeah.
gotten immeasurably more difficult as a result. So
I'm so sorry.
thank you. I have to sit in my
Those
air-conditioned
fucking
car.
charities. I'm
Are you
sick
kidding?
of it. I fucking hate
I'm
charities.
so sick of these charities. It's like, what do you even want from me? And they're like $5. And I'm like, yeah, but what do you really want from me?
Yeah, what do you really want? You want my
They're
info
like some
or
awareness,
something? How dare you?
some just educating.
You know what's helped though is learning about these charities that I wouldn't want to support, like the.
Oh, it makes it a lot easier.
Because then I'm like,
Yes.
oh no, you know what? I
Yes.
feel good about not giving you.
You're
money
like, you
because
don't feel
I'm
that guilt.
giving money
you
elsewhere
feel awkward,
already, like online.
but you don't feel like an asshole. You're like,
yeah, and same with when they ask me if I want to round up to like at a CVS or
Oh,
something.
never.
I'm like, fuck no, you
you
CVS
pay your own
fucks.
fucking money to.
You fucking
You pay money
have
to
so much
kids,
fucking money.
dick.
Why are you trying to guilt me into doing it? Which I already do by myself. I don't need you to stamp your name on my donations.
Thank you. That
you
makes
know?
me crazy.
Fuck
I'm like,
that.
don't you put that you
Pisses me
donated all
off.
this money? They're gonna be like, oh, we donated this much money to kids for blah blah blah. It's like, no, I donated 13 cents
Exactly.
4,000 times.
Exactly.
Don't even pretend.
Exactly.
That's what I told the guy, and he's like,
10 cents,
I'm
4,000.
just shopping for vitamin water, and I was like,
Oh yeah,
oh,
yeah.
misplaced anger. Anyway, but yeah.
Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah.
You
Oh,
got
I
fired.
didn't even talk about me getting fired. So I was pretty good at the start, and then I just kind of fell off because I was like, "What the? How do you do?"
He fell
this?
off
How
a
do you-"
curb,
I
twisted his ankle.
I
No.
did not do that. I just didn't have the ability to sell it to people.
Well, the
anymore.
worst part is I
was
think
so
I never
stressed.
bought a subscription. I remember
Well,
like,
you didn't have the money. I mean, it wasn't that
oh,
expensive.
sure I
but,
didn't.
Like,
No,
why would
definitely
you?
didn't.
Why
I think
would
I
you?
probably offered like half-heartedly, and you were like, no, it's fine.
Yeah, no, it was not great. And then my numbers were so low. They just called me once, and it was pretty. I was kind of relieved. I cried.
mean, yeah.
I remember like being really upset at myself because I got fired. But then I was like, oh, but wait, that means I don't have to
You don't have
work.
to do it ever again.
Sweet.
Yeah,
And then I
that's-
was like, Yeah. And
That's
then I
what they don't
needed
tell
money.
you about
But
getting fired is it means you don't have to work anymore, which is so nice. Like nobody ever talks about the silver lining of that, you know?
it would be funny if he called and was like, hey, good news. You don't have to work anymore. You're fired.
I feel like that definitely has happened in a sitcom. Like, great news,
It
you're
feels
not
like
working in the office today. It's like,
Yeah.
or any day ever.
Bad news is you won't ever be, you're
Or
banned
at
from the
home
premises.
or anywhere for us ever again. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Good job, Zandy. That was a good one. I liked that
It
challenge.
was fun. It was a fun one. Thanks, Mahaley, Brad, and Gregory for
And
your
team.
help. And thanks to my team. Thanks for my team. Because, yeah, you all found the good ones that didn't have just lame, oh, yeah, someone got fired.
Yeah, yeah.
With no
they
info.
did the dirty work for us.
Yeah. So
and
a little closing out thing, y'all. If you want to support us on Patreon, patreon.com/beach2sandy. We have ad-free listening, full video episodes. We tell you the themes in advance. We get your input on themes. You can
There's
send
like a
us in
submission
reviews,
page.
a submission form with a secret password.
We're
It's
proud
really
of
fun.
that. We worked really hard.
Yeah.
It's a new password every month.
It took not weirdly that long, but like we did well. I'm surprised.
I am pretty
I'm
proud
impressed
of
by
it.
us.
If
I
that
thought there'd
one-
be a lot more bumps in that road.
Yeah, Zandy and I worked pretty hard on that like whole calendar form process because we had we had to figure out the best streamlined way of doing it. But yeah, I think we did pretty good. It worked for the first month. Like we have not had that knock on wood many issues.
So far, I'm loving it. Like
Yeah.
it's so great.
It's a lot easier.
And then other than that, y'all, we are on tour and we really want to see you at your cities. Portland and Seattle are sold out, so be sure to get your tickets to the other places. We're going to Charlotte, we're going to Philly, we're going to Cincinnati and Columbus, Chicago, St. Louis, a bunch of other places. Atlanta, I said Charlotte.
Oh,
Atlanta. We're going to a bunch of places.
Philly.
DC, Philly. Oh my God, so excited for those. Y'all, I think I said Philly twice then. Anyway, come see us live, beach2sandy.com/tour. We would love to see you. The shows are always different. They're always fun. They're always ridiculous. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. Yeah, and then other than that, go to youtube.com/beach2sandywater2wet because we have all of our challenges sections are now on video. You can watch the whole thing in video.
Our wonderful Zoe, who does the social media and a lot of the like video editing,
Our producer, our video, just so much shit. It's
just
amazing.
does so much and has started putting them up on YouTube, so you can watch that part separately from audio if you want. But.
And fun clips too, also on TikTok, Instagram, etc. So yeah. Anyway, I think that covers it all. Beach2sandy.store for merch, summer merch.
I think it covers it all. Anyway, one more thing.
I think now I'm done.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, everyone. No, we appreciate you all. Thank you for listening.
Okay, we love you. Bye.